Say hi to Brobama. So behind the scenes, I've been trying to make an app. That was my cattle. Wait a second, let me go get him. Everyone, meet Gremlin. Let's meet everyone. Say meow. Yeah, ain't he a cute little man? So far I've made like 5 different apps and all of them are around like 90 to 70% done, but I can't release any of them. We'll get into that later, but that's you know what, I'll make a whole different video ranting about why I can't release any of my apps, even though they are like pretty much complete and just in the beta testing phase. But this video is not about that, alright? I was like, you know what, I have all this code laying around. Why don't I just make an app that I can 100% be sure that I can release? Since I can't release mobile apps, what if I just make a web app that can run on mobile? That way I don't have to deal with Apple being a fucking pain in my ass, right? Since I've never made a web app before, why don't I start off small? And I mean very small. Step 1 was setting a sign-in thing, right? Now, I'm not sure if you guys are aware, but there's this app called NGL, not gonna lie, where users can leave anonymous confessions about other users, shit like that, right? I kinda like the idea of it, except, you know, I feel like it's not toxic enough, alright? I'm gonna be honest, I feel like it's not toxic enough. I see potential. There can be much more bullying on that app than there already is. And I want to extract that pure bullying energy. Step 1 was coming up with a way to log in. I must have a login system so that there won't be spam. And then I'm like, okay, you know what? I use Telegram. All my friends use Telegram. Everyone I know uses Telegram. And it's going to be pretty hard for toddlers to get Telegram since you need a SIM card to get on Telegram. I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm going to make it so that you can log into it via Telegram. And you know what, another good thing that happened with it being loginable via Telegram is that I can send notifications via Telegram. But this is a website that you just visit on your phone, right? So there is no way for me to deliver notifications to you guys. I mean, I think I can do it for Android users, but I don't think I can do it for iPhone users because Apple doesn't support progressive web app, which is a whole different story. I have figured out a way to get users to log in without signing up, and also a way for users to receive their notifications without installing an entire app. They can just, you know, they'll be on Telegram, boom, pop up, oh, what's this? Someone fucking commented, yeah, let's square up, little bitch. I know nothing about web apps. So then I'm like, I know some people who do. So I hit up 2 of my friends and I'm like, yo, y'all wanna work on a little project with me? And I'm like, guys, we're gonna spend only 2 weeks max on this shit, alright? 1 week for actually building the damn thing and the second week for testing and shit like that. There's no expectations for this app. We'll just make it, release it, and boom, be done with it, you know. If people hop on it, they hop on it. And one of them is like, are you gonna pay me for this? I'm like, absolutely the fuck not. This is a shit post. In matter of fact, you're gonna have to pay me to be able to join, to be able to contribute to the narrative. But yeah, so we started on it. We come up with a UI. Now, I'm going to show you the UI we came up with, right? The UI is nowhere near final. Matter of fact, that UI is probably going to change. The mockups that I made was basically for like, what do you call it? It's just so that the front-end developers know what sort of idea I have in my mind. So here's how it was structured. I was coding the back end and they were coding the front end. Now, let me get a bit more into detail for you non-tech savvy kids on how front-end and back-end and what the difference between both of those are. Front-end is basically everything you see, the button, the way... Front-end is basically where the button is located, what color the button is, what's going to be displayed and all that shit. Back-end is the guy dealing with all the algorithms and shit like that, the database entry, what happens when you click the button, shit like that. That is the back-end. So I'm out here doing all the boring shit while my friends are doing all the, you know, the cool shit which you guys get to see. So yeah, we started on this shit. And day 1, I'm like, okay, I just copy pasted a bunch of code from my old project since I already have that shit written, right? So I just copy paste them, make a new project, boom, compile. And I'm like, wait a second, I never worked with Telegram logins before. So I'm like, ah, fuck. Now I gotta go and read those dumbass docs and all that shit. And I read it, right? I'm like, okay, I understand it. I understand what's going on. Let me explain to you what's going on. When you click the login with Telegram button, right? And you log in, Telegram will basically send me a hash, and based on the other data Telegram sends me, I have to recreate that hash to validate that you actually sent me a valid login request. Now, I spent an entire day being unable to verify this login data that Telegram kept sending me. I kept writing my own solutions. I fucking asked ChatGPT and bro wrote me an entire solution and all that shit. And we were going back and forth. I was like, okay, maybe it's the URL, it's not encoded properly or whatever. Or maybe I'm accidentally including values that should not be there and whatnot. I'm going there, right? Fucking trying to dig out and debug this issue. And I couldn't, and I asked my team, I'm like, yo, anyone of you worked on this shit before? And they're like, nah, man. I'm like, fuck. Guess what I accidentally come across? Turned out, Telegram already released the code that would verify that shit for you. And I just did not know. So one entire day of work fucking wasted. But after that, now login works perfectly fine, right? So then we move on to the other shit. And I still haven't really told you what this app is about. And to be honest, I don't really know. I genuinely do not know what the app is about. It's more like it's a shit post, so I'll just be figuring out what features I'm gonna add as I go along. Right now, what the app does is you can log in, and then you can make a post on other users' timelines. So basically, every person that visits the user's timeline will see what others posted about that person. And I thought that was pretty funny. So you can leave a negative or positive review on that person. And then I'm going to be coding a leaderboard where it will be a leaderboard of who has the most positive reviews and who has the most negative reviews. Now listen here, you little fucks. I know you guys are going to think, oh, haha, it's going to be so funny to make sure that Fishie is on the negative top 1 at all times. Listen. If you guys fucking do that, remember, I'm coding this shit, okay? I will know who is giving me negative reviews. Oh yeah, speaking of, you can actually make it so that the other person fucking knows that you're the one hating on them. None of this pussy and on hating shit, right? I mean, if you want to be a pussy, there is the option to hide your identity. If you want to be a baller, if you want to be a gangster, you can just untick the, and on checkbox, and boom, you can be a hater in public with your fucking you can make yourself known as an actual hater. And I think that's what's gonna make this platform really funny. And the other thing that I realized is, since it's a web app, I don't have to follow the rules of Apple and Google. That means I can just allow any amount of cyberbullying or harassment on this. Because like I read the Apple's term and condition, right? Every single time I make an app, Apple will say, yeah, you can't allow that. Yeah, that is cyberbullying. That can't go. That is gonna be negative for mental health. Man, I'm trying to make a funny app, alright? I'm trying to let people have a good time. Twitter, they got like, I'm sorry, did we forget the time people bullied an entire animation studio because Sonic looked like a fucking deranged animal? I'm just saying, bullying is haha funny. The other day I opened Twitter, Nico was getting fucking dragged for being a cuck. That shit was funny as hell. I'm definitely gonna add new shit to it as like it goes on, but for right now, this is just a shit post. I'll just work on it for 2 weeks max, and I'll see if it gets picked up. And if it does get picked up, then I'm gonna just start adding new features, and you guys get to follow along with me as I'm coding this. So you guys will be getting devlogs, and you guys will get to like vote on features and shit like that. So I'll be like, oh, what feature should I add? And you guys can like vote on what's the feature. And if you are a nerd, there'll be a GitHub repo contained in the front-end code for it. You can, poke around, draw me and my friends' coding abilities. I'm not really sure what framework you pick in. They pick some JavaScript framework, which I shit you not, I cannot pronounce the name of that framework. Speaking of frameworks, the backend is going to be written in C#, ASP.NET Core Web API. You know how it is. I'm a C# boy all the way. As for a database, I was thinking of going with MongoDB because it's a NoSQL thing. I really do not fuck with SQL. Yeah, that is the first devlog for this thing, and I'm thinking of calling Honest. Wait a minute, did I call it honesty, honest, something like that, right? I called it something like that, honest, I don't remember. I'm gonna make sure to remove dark mode from it. I'm gonna make sure the app is fucking brighter than the sun. You know what I'm saying? Like when you open it in the middle of the night, you're getting fucking blasted with the whiteness of the screen. Yeah, I went out of my way to remove dark mode from it just to be annoying. How do you feel about that? Once like people actually start using it seriously, I'll add dark mode. I will see you guys in the second devlog